Hi and welcome to a new vlog. Now if you're new to the channel, welcome especially, and we've got quite a few new subscribers come on this last week or two, so I'd like to say a big welcome to them. And don't forget, you can look through the back catalogue of the videos on the channel for reviews, all sort of stuff I do. So as I say, a big welcome to them, and of course big welcome to everybody that normally logs on to this channel. Now, what I'm going to say is the NEC February Caravan and Motorhome show is on as from Tuesday. I will be there Tuesday, I will be there Thursday, and I'll be there for part of the day afternoon on Saturday. And so I'm doing 3 days basically. Now, gone are the days where it used to be a 10-day show. That 10-day show was a long show. It was quite a slog, and for several years I did, well, for more than several years, probably for a good 10 years, I did the 10-day slot, usually getting down there a day or two before, and we used to have a test caravan on, maybe a test car as well. Those are the days when those things were readily available. Now, the show is going to be, I don't know whether it's going to be as big, but I think there'll be still plenty to see. I'm hoping there's more stuff for kids on this show, because I think the October show really wasn't, there was very little for kids. A bit of face painting, but that's a bit sort of getting a bit old hat really. You know, they want some things to do, activities to do to children. And when I used to take my daughter, when she was young, there was like sand pits and all sorts of bits of stuff. Anyway, what's the show going to be like for 2025? Well, I don't know how busy it's going to be. I really don't. In theory, it should be quite busy because, and this is what I want to bring you into, is that the road tax changed in April, and I was looking at a couple of YouTubes, and the prices of road tax is phenomenal. I think it's disgusting. I think it's terrible. It's going to really hit the motorist. It's going to really hit the caravanner. And it's also going to hit the camper van person and the motorhome person. So if you're buying a new motorhome, new camper van, and you leave it after April 1st, I think it's somewhere around there, or 5th or something, then you'll get clobbered by this new tax. Now, what I suggest you do, because it's not a cut and dried. Even this guy was on YouTube. He was he's obviously quite clued up. Even he said it's quite complex, and it sounds it. So sort of things are that if your vehicle, so if your tow vehicle is over £40,000 new, even though you may get a discount on that, you still get the list price charged, and it's something like £650 a year for 5 years. It's absolutely preposterous. It's terrible. And the same thing's going on with motorhomes. And it's about emissions. Even if you get something like an electric car, you're still going to get clobbered. So I think this is going to make the government very, very, to be quite honest, very unpopular. I think they've done a few things now, without getting political, that are not good at all. The national insurance thing's going up. It's going to kill business. It's strangling us. We're trying to get the things going, not the opposite way around. With the electric car, again, the pushing on that. Again, for towing, the majority of them are of no use whatsoever, unless you're going to tow a very small caravan. And let's face it, people these days want the more space, they want more room, hence 8 foots have become quite popular. So it's very strange times ahead. And it's funny because a friend of mine has just bought a new car, and my first reaction was, so what have you bought? Have you bought a hybrid? Because he was never keen on electric, and he went, no, I've gone for just a normal petrol. And he says, I worked out for this is the extra cost. He said, and for what I'm doing mileage waste, it's just not worth it, paying the extra for the hybrid. And And that seems to be quite a consensus actually on a lot of things. On that, I don't want to get into a thing about electric cars. You know, they do have the good points, but, you know, they're not caravan friendly, no matter how many people may have hitched one up on the back of a caravan up behind one, but they're very small and you'd have to travel very... I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe micro caravans might come back into play again. I don't know, but people have got so used to having a bigger van, more luxury items inside there. And really, for electric cars, you're going to have something lightweight, very basic, the larger you get. And I can see electric car manufacturers turning around and say, well, do you know what? We don't actually want you to tow. So if there's any problems goes wrong with them, you can imagine, can't you, saying, do you tow a trailer or a caravan? Oh, yes, I do. It's not covered under our warranty because you're putting extra where they're not designed to be towed with, which I don't electric cars are, full stop. They're not designed to be towed. No one's ever thought about that. And it's same when it comes to charging, of course, isn't it? So anyway, as I say, we'll skip on a bit from that one. But in theory, as I say, there should be a rush for people to buy before this deadline. And I think after that, there may be quite a slump on motorhomes and campervans. I think campervan sales have definitely slowed down. They're still popular, but it means a lot of the smaller manufacturers that set up maybe COVID time, they've gone. And a lot of them weren't due to legislation. The people have been out there a long time doing it, you know, like Well House, New Venture, and Leisure Drive, Autosleeper, people like that, they've got the experience and they've kept up to date with all the new safety regulations. So another thing is as well is that parking in laybys and things with motorhomes, I think that's going to start to come to a thing of the past. I think I've said this before, but I think really they're going to try and stop that a lot. I think it's down to the fact is that some owners may have not been very courteous to people that lived in the area and maybe thrown wastewater, you know, let the wastewater tank go all down the road or something. I don't know. I know that was a problem near Cleveland, not far from where I live. And I mean, I would go there and count 40 motorhomes all along the seafront, parked aside, not doing any particular harm. And be sat out there on an evening looking over to the sea, and a lot of them loved it because it was a free weekend and they could walk up into Cleveland and you know and spend some money in the local economy. But that all got stopped. They changed all the seafront as well, and they just stoned it off. No, you know, that was it. So the next where they go now is Fleetwood. Now there's a big car park there and they do charge you, I think, £5 a night to stop overnight there. There's no facilities, so you've got to make sure you've got all your water tanks up, your loo and everything settles before you go. And that is very popular. That's down by the boating pool. So if you're at Fleetwood Way, that's down by the boating pool. And there are some good cafes and pubs in Fleetwood, and they've got the Freeport, of course. But I can see a lot of that stopping, and I think this living in vans as well. I mean, I'll be a bit outspoken. Where people are going where you shouldn't go, I don't agree with that. That's openly breaking the law. Is it stealth camper vanning they call it, something like that? I don't think that should be happening. And I think people who do it and make a video of it and maybe do it as a bit of a, you know, look, I've got away with it. I don't know if that's quite right. I don't think it gives camper van owners very good reputation. So I think really there's going to be a lot of changes. There is going to be a lot of changes. And I just don't know how the caravan industry is going to change. I just don't know. It's you know, with tow vehicles now, you know, if you do want a decent tow vehicle, you're going to get absolutely hammered on the road tax. I don't know, I've not sort of experienced times like this really. As I say, as a young teenager in the 70s, I remember things being tough then, especially with the caravan industry. And you know, petrol was going up like every week, and it was very expensive to run a car. So the bigger cars basically became dinosaurs, really, until things eventually settled down. So all I can say is, anybody going to the NEC, do have a good NEC. If anybody watches the channel and they buy a caravan or a motorhome or a camper van, please let me know, or even a holiday home, because there will be a couple of holiday homes there. I think Pemberton are there, Omaha there, and Parkham. So this time at this show, there is something a little bit diverse for people to go, and I think there's tents as well. Now, we lost Pennine camper vans, not camper vans, sorry, Pennine folding campers. Sadly, they went. They were at the NEC in October show. I spoke to them, and they've wound up now. The other news is that that company has been bought, and I've tried to contact the new owner, but they're sort of saying, well, we don't, you know, we've bought this, but we don't know what we're going to do with it yet. You know, just watch this space, and we'll keep you up to date. So hopefully, I'll be able to bring you some news on that. Big shame about Pennine going. Pennine Conway, been around for a long time, and again, it's a marketplace which now has probably been taken over, definitely, there's no UK manufacturers left anymore, by some of the foreign people now, Trigano stuff. And yeah, that's sadly, that's it. So NEC show, the last show of the season, as it were. So we'll find out what's going to happen off there. And then the next shows are, well, I don't know, because the Harrogate show is no more, as we did the video on. And we're going to have to see if that show gets replaced. My bet is if it does, it will certainly end up over in East Yorkshire somewhere. It won't get held over central like it was in Harrogate as much, so I think it's going to end up over into East Yorkshire, but I don't know where. I think there's rumblings about something going on, but until I say, if I find out, I'll let you know as soon as I can. A lot of people seem to like the leisure sales video. Yeah, excuse me, it's a shame there wasn't, some of the vans weren't open. What I'll do next time is, when I go, I'll ask them to open a certain amount of vans, so I can just go in and show you all about them. They quite a decent amount of used stock actually, so there was quite a good lot of choice there. Some dealers have not got as much stock. That might be purposely to keep stock levels down. But I noticed somebody told me that the Sprite exclusive range is now going to be available through other Swift Sprite dealers. So I don't know how true that is, but somebody said that could be happening. So that means to say that the standard Sprite range, which is available at the moment, may just disappear. I don't know. But again, that's sort of looking in the old crystal ball, and maybe it's a bit clouded and I'm not getting the right information. So I wouldn't take too much on that, but it's interesting if that is going to happen. So let's look forward to the NEC as best we can. Things to look out for, I think, Autosleepers, they're revamping their motorhomes. Also, I'd go on to their stand. I'm going to try and get over there. I'll do a bit of a video of the show, but it'll only be clips. I'm not going to be doing detailed going around viewing, because I'll be able to do that at my local Marcus dealership anyway for the Autosleepers vans, and sometimes doing stuff at the show isn't ideal, as you've probably seen in some of the ones we've done. So yes, and I think Elddis are relaunching their AutoQuest range, the new design. So some interesting stuff there. Swift will not be there as a manufacturer, which is a big shame. They're not even going to be there with holiday homes, I don't think. Again, a big shame, because they've got some cracking holiday homes. I think they'd worked really hard for 2025, and I know that they were actually doing quite well with them, you know, considering the circumstances. But Swift, will he appear on the odd dealer stand there? I don't know. I'm sure they will, but they haven't got their own stand. I can see the reason why. You know, they put a lot into the October show, but I think I would have a stand of sorts, but I could take it down just to my popular models, you know, to my very popular models. So I'd have one or two vans of each of the range which sell well, and have a small stand. But you know, I think it should be represented there. But maybe, you know, they know what they're doing. You know, who am I to say? I remember Earl's Court once, ABI pulling out of Earl's Court back in the day, and you know, they caused a bit of a rumpus by not going to Earl's Court when ABI was a touring manufacturer as well. Well, they were the biggest UK manufacturer by that time, by the late 80s, early 90s, and I mean, they were on a real roll. Had ABI carried on and stuck to it, who knows, they may have been still around, doing tourers, not just the holiday homes and the lodges. They may still have been quite a successful company in the touring range of Caravan. I was always sad to see when they went, because, as I say, ABI had produced some very good ranges: Monzas, Marauders, Jubilees, Ace Jubilees, Targets. You know, I'm starting to go back a bit, but Sprints. They produce some really good bread. They produce some really good bread and butter Caravans, like the Monza, which actually became the Sprinter in the end, and that was a real lightweight van. I remember having one of those on test for a week at the February NEC, and it was very cold that week, but it did have a heater, it did have blown air heating, and we were expecting our daughter at that time. So my wife was quite sort of getting fairly heavily pregnant, and we went away for the week in that, and we actually found that van had everything actually we needed. It was only 6 foot, I think it was 6'8" wide or 6'10" wide, and it weighed something like, I'm going to go in old pound, shillings and pence here, around about 1,300 weight, which I don't know what that equates to in kilos off the top of my head, but it was lightweight. And they were quite popular. They produced a lot of, they did a two-berth, but they did a lot of family vans, and they were always quite popular. It's just a shame that there's nothing round like that now. We haven't got a basic lightweight van that's made here in the UK, you know, because I think that's maybe the way the market might go with the way things go. I just don't know. You know, we could have. One time, years ago, I could have predicted what was going to happen in the caravan market, but now it's so many other different things that are influencing everything. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble on. Apologise for that. Books are now out, so if you put your order in, your books will come. Thank you for everybody who's bought the books already. And I had a little bit of feedback. People are saying they're really good, so that's nice to know. It's always, you know, the bad bits as well, but I haven't heard any bad bits. I suppose I will do. Yeah. So Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, I will be at the NEC. If you see me, please come and say hello. If you're not, even if you're not a subscriber, please come and say hello. Just doesn't matter, but I'd like you to subscribe. As always, hit the subscribe button at the end of this video or end of the videos. I'll see you on the next one, and hopefully I'll see you at the NEC. Bye for now.